I'm seeing if I'm trying all this new stuff today with OBS. I learned a ton of stuff today, so I'm just seeing if it switches over to my camera at some point. Let's see. Oh, I'm seeing if okay, all right, it works. I'm learning. I'm learning. As Ralph Wiggum says, I'm learning. Okay, so yesterday we sketched. I transcribed the sketch for the main title to Jerry Goldsmith scored a legend, and now we're going to orchestrate it. We're going to attribute the sketch into a full score. So what's great about Goldsmith sketches is that they are very, very thorough. So everything that needs to be there is annotated. There's probably very little guesswork or creative work that I have to do when attributing the sketch into the full score. I think I figured out the audio today, so you'll be able to hear Sibelius playback, and we'll listen to the original soundtrack as well. So let's get into it. Okay, hang on a second. There we go. All right. I'm very excited. I learned so much about OBS and streaming today. I'm very proud of me. All right. So the first thing we're going to do, we're just going to take it system by system. So in the first system, we have a ton of keyboard stuff. So I've accounted in the instrumentation, if this was ever to be done live, that there's maybe 3 keyboard parts. It's a pretty intense set of electronics that are going on at any given point. And, depending on how one mounts a live performance of this, or even like a re-recording, you don't maybe need physical keyboards. They could be like a pre-record track or something like that. But I'm just writing it as if it was going to be for 3 keyboards, because I gather from the one full score that I have from this movie that there were 3 keyboards participating. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, we're just going to kind of go from top to bottom. So we have this DX16 sound, and I'm just going to put it in keyboard 1, because why not? There's no necessary distinction. It's just whoever's available, If I want, now my engraver brain is taking over. I'm like, do I want to box the names of the patches? And I think I do, actually. So let's do that. Okay, so DX16 full modulation. I don't totally... I assume full modulation means like at the height of its velocity or something. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what that means. That's a separate interview with someone who specializes in DX and OB8 keyboards from the 80s. All right, so we got that. I'm going to kind of highlight these as we go to make sure that I've gotten everything. So highlight, perfect. All right, that's done. Can I change the highlight color? Yeah, all right, I'm going to worry about that later. Okay, so the next we have another keyboard part. We have this expander sound, and I'm going to do the same thing. Let's see, expander. '98. I think it's 90. I mean, again, it doesn't really... I don't know if I'm going to be able to even recover most of these sounds. So, I mean, they'll have to be built up from something anyway, but just naming them so from Q to Q, I know how those if I know how those names are in common from Q to Q, then I can, whatever name I replace it with, it'll be super easy to identify those sounds. All right. That's done. Okay, so now we get some of the orchestral instruments. So we have the violins and the violas are sort of holding these sustained chords. But the choir is also participating. So we start, okay, so the violins, I'm going to do this. Because what probably, I'm not quite sure what happened. It probably was a thing where it's like first and second violins were just on the same parts. That's typically how they do film music cues, is there's not necessarily designated first violin and second violin parts. It's sort of like it's just divided on the same page, depending if they want to redistribute numbers of people. So let's see, how do I want to do this? Honestly, what I might do is just it's the same part in both first violins and second violins, and they just divide in two or divide in three. You know, it'll get roughly the evenness that we're after. Okay, so we're gonna put consort, and actually here, let's do divide consort. Okay, and then I'm gonna go divide in three. And we're going to just do the same thing in the second violin part. Okay, so then we have the viola part, which I'll just do here. So this is consort, divide. And that should be good. Now, the choir writing, there's part of me that feels, you know, viola in French is alto. So I feel like this should just all go to the altos and this should go to the sopranos. Okay. Well, first of all, let me add choir parts to the score, and then I'll play with it. Alto. Wait, where'd you go? There you are. Tenor. And bass. Okie doke. So let's just assume we're doing this. Now, what I don't care for is, let me get it copied first. Okay. Go away, and we probably need to redo the dynamics. Okay, so sempre pianissimo. And this is probably just, I think it's an ooh sound at the beginning. So I'm just going to put that as a lyric in parentheses. Okay, so I feel like if there's an even number of sopranos and altos, having the tonic so underrepresented and the fifth of the chord in the altos is so heavy. I know it's the foundation, but maybe we should do this. And then a 5-note chord, because I don't want that F to be too underrepresented in measure 5. So maybe I mean, if they're dividing in 3, maybe something like that. Is that weird? My, yeah. Yeah, it's a weird chord to divide up. Like, if we're assuming, maybe, let's see, I'm trying to think of choir numbers. Like, if it's a 40-person choir, it's like 10 per thing. Um, yeah. Huh. Okay. All right, whatever. I'm not going to agonize over it now. In fact, I'm going to leave a note from myself. Where's my? Oh, there we go. Review choir voicings. Divisi. We'll worry about that later. Okay. So we have the strings, we have everybody else. Okay, so I'm gonna highlight these. Those are done. Okay, moving on to the next system. I still have to look into the Sforzato thing. I think it's just not the correct term there because there's a crescendo, and the definition I read of smorzando with an N and a D is that it kind of trails off and diminuendo. So I don't even know if I want to include it. But we do have sort of this wide vibrato. This is both oboes. So we're going to go up to the oboe parts. Do that. And I'm just going to leave it like that for now. I'm doing a parts score, by the way. So everything it's horns 1, 2, 3, and 4 are their own separate staves for now. And then I'll create a conductor score once I feel like everything's accurate. Okay, so then let me just focus on these 4 bars. Okay, so we have a continuation of the DX synth, but now it's in the left hand. So I'm going to go up here. And honestly, is this all in one? I don't trust myself. I'm going to take it one chunk at a time. Okay, so then, so this is done. Then we have, I did that, so let me highlight that. And then we have the tenor bass come in. So tenor and bass, and let me go away, go away, go away, go away. And then we'll split this up. So get out of here, and then I'm actually gonna, this is just easier for me. And their dynamic was pianissimo. Oops. And we're also going to give them an ooh vowel sound. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so that's done. Okay, so then we have the other, the expander synth. So we're going to get that in there. Do we have a dynamic on this? No, we don't. I'm just going to say, we don't even have a dynamic on the other one. I'm just going to say pianissimo for that as well. Let me move this over here, I guess. And then I'm going to make this is pretty, not loud, but it's louder than pianissimo, and it's probably louder than piano. So I'm going to editorialize and make it mezzo piano. And then maybe this can come down to piano. It's not, I mean, you can hear it for sure, and it's definitely one of the only things kind of moving, but I don't know if it needs to be that loud. Okay. All right, so got all that. We did this. We did the synth. Highlight that. Okay. So now we have a continuation of the violins, who basically are divided in 3 the whole time. So yeah, you know what? this is all violin stuff. So I'm just going to get all of that in there now. So violin 1 and violin 2. They're going to be doing the same thing because it's just not, you know, it's two sections that I've got to divide three ways. So it's just easier, in my opinion, to put the same part in both section parts, and it'll all work out. Same with the viola part. Same with the cello and bass part. So actually, let me. But this is also choir. That's right. So. Now the question is, with the choir, my thought process is like have the tonal center of the chord kind of represented most. That makes the most sense to me. But sometimes we have triads that are in inversions, and I wonder if that's more important. Also, some of this is too high for alto, and maybe too So let's just say, okay, so it's an A minor chord for 4 bars at 9. So I think the altos can just take the A. And we'll get rid of it in the soprano part. Then the A flat is kind of the spicy note, so I feel like, again, we can just have the alto on the A flat, and the sopranos can divide the F and the C. Same thing here. We can just put the altos on the bottom note. Okay, so here's where I feel like the B should be represented in both parts. And then it goes to F, where that can be just normal, and then goes back to B. So let me do this. So let's get rid of the D here, get rid of the F and the C, get rid of the D. Okay, and then get rid of the F sharp. That looks okay to me. This, same deal. We'll just get rid of the D sharp and the B. Get rid of the G sharp there. Maybe double up the tonic again. So I don't know if that's too high for alto, but oops. Now this, I think it's okay if the altos are on G and the root and fifth of the triad are divided between the sopranos. And then bottom note is just going to be that, and then we're going to get rid of it in the soprano. And then we have a D minor chord, second inversion. It's probably it's probably the altos will just have to take the bottom note. I don't know how I feel about reinforcing the fifth of the chord that much, but whatever. Okay, and then we'll get rid of it here. Okay, so I feel pretty good about those divisi. The opening divisi I don't feel great about. I mean, this is fine. This I feel like I need to think about a little bit more. So I'll come back to that later. So we have the violin, soprano, alto-y stuff. Oh, you know what? That's right. So the viola parts kind of factor into this too. Yeah, so soprano and alto with violins and violas the whole time. Oh, so we got to okay, so let's do this. We're going to redo this. Just to make my life easy, let's reduce it in here and reduce it. No, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, and then reduce it in here as well. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that makes things maybe a little bit easier. Okay, so we're going to get rid of the so 4 notes, we'll just have 2 on top in the soprano, and the bottom 2 notes we'll get rid of, or the bottom 2 notes will be in the alto part. And then, great, okay. Okay, we got another 5-note chord. Maybe top 3 in soprano, and then the bottom 2 in the alto. There we go. All right, yeah, some of these are getting way too low for. You know what? Let me. Let me see what the tenor. Let me copy the tenor bass stuff, because this is also all one staff. They're pretty low too, but I think I just want to see if we can eliminate any super low alto notes that are just like are impossible to sing. I guess we don't. I know they can get down to that low F sharp. I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah, maybe. Well, except the tenors are doing it, so they don't need to do that. Okay, so let's do that. Let's figure this out first. Okay. So G, they've got the G there. Let's have the tenors cover that. That's good. F sharp, they're not singing that. F natural, F sharp, G sharp they're covering, so let's get rid of that. G they're covering. Oh, there's no G in that chord. Okay. B flat, and then A. They're covering the A, so let's make our life easy and make this a 4-note chord. Okay. That's a little bit better. Okay. So let's go back now. And then actually let's do the tenor bass stuff is going to be really easy to do, because it's either 2 or 4-note chords. So those are going to be easy to divide. So let's do the bass first. So 2-note, 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 2-note until the very end. So we're going to get rid of the top note, and then we're going to get rid of the top note, and then get rid of the top note again. And there's our bass part. Okay, so now the tenor part, let's go back. So we're going to take the bottom note, get rid of that, and then we're going to take the bottom note, get rid of that, get rid of that. All right, so there's our tenor bass parts. So now let's get back to the soprano alto parts. Okay. Oh, so this, okay, so I fixed this, so let me copy paste. There we go. Okay, so this chord will just have the, it's a 4-note chord, so we'll just split it in 2. What am I doing? There we go. And then this one, we get rid of the top note, and then we get rid of the top note. There we go. Okay, here's our 1 5-note chord. Or not our one. We have a couple others. Okay. So let's have the sopranos be on the top 2 notes for this. and the altos will divide in 3. There we go. Okay. Then we have a bunch of, well, 2 measures of 4-note chords. So we're going to just take the bottom note out of that and then take the top 2 notes off of this. Great. Okay. And then another 5-note chord, I think. This is kind of, I'm being random about this, but maybe let's have the let's make sorry. Second guessing myself as I start a sentence. Because I want the soprano thing to have more clarity. I feel like the higher notes should have more clarity. So maybe let's not split them up so much and give them the top 2 notes is maybe what I would do. And then eliminate those. Okay. And then our last 5-note chord, let's actually let's have the sopranos divide in 3 there. And then altos can just have the 5th and the tonic. Okay. And then we finish with a 4-note chord. So that is easy. 2 on the top in the top 2 notes in the soprano, bottom 2 notes in the alto. Okay. As boring as it is to listen to just a bunch of whole notes, I just want to hear what our choir sounds sound like with our fake choir. Ooh, super boring. So here's A minor to F minor, although the chromatic medians that we were talking about yesterday. And then we're going to G minor in first inversion. And then B minor, root position. F minor. Back to B minor. G sharp minor, first inversion. C minor, root position. E minor, second inversion. B flat minor, root position. D minor, second inversion. And the strings are kind of a similar setup. So, okay, cool. So we got that all done. So here's the tenor bass part of the sketch. I think it just, yeah, is that the whole time. So I'm going to highlight that. Cool chord changes. I like it. I like it. And then we did the... Did we do the strings? Yes, we did. Okay, so we did the violins. We did the violas and soprano alto. So we just have to do the cello. Let's do the cello bass. Let's just get that done. Okay. So I'm going to do a similar thing. I'm going to just take all of this and put it somewhere. Oh, I didn't do the viola part. I didn't attribute it to the viola yet. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so divide, and then let me just add all the divide and unison stuff. Good. Okay, that's done. Okay, so cello basso. Do that, and we'll do that. Okay. Okay, so first chord, I'm just going to eliminate the bottom note from the cello part, and the basses can play that. All right, cool. And then I'm going to have them be the same entrance dynamic, I believe. There might not have been a dynamic, but it's probably the same as the strings when they came in. Okay, same deal. So we're going to eliminate the bottom note. I bet I could, let's see, cut. There we go. That's much easier. All right. Cut. Actually, I could probably do this for a while. 3-note chords, 3-note chords, 3-note chords. Yeah, I could do this for the rest of the cue. Great! Okay, bottom note, cut, and paste. There we go. All right, is there anything that I want to reinforce? Not really. I think it's good as is. All right, cool. So then we have the strings reinforcing the chords. We'll hear it with the full. Let's actually here. Let's listen to what it sounds like. Again, I know it's the best playback I have with no performer, so it's not like the soundtrack, but just to hear those chord changes with the strings and the choir, just the texture that kind of creates. F minor, first inversion. G minor, first inversion. Look how spread out the voicing is between the cello bass stuff. And then it gets tighter, more closed as it gets higher. we go. Very cool. All right. So we did the cello bass stuff. Let's get that all situated. Okay, let's go back and move on. Let's focus on continuing with the second system, actually. There we go. Okay. So, still remaining, we have the 2 flute gesture there. I don't want to really, let's see. So this is both flutes. I'm going to rewrite it outright. It's too much work to clean it up. Okay. And then we have our dynamics. Oops. Okay, that's in both flute parts. There we go. And then we also have the oboes doing the same sort of crescendo thing. I want to listen, actually, this would be a good time to maybe go to the soundtrack and listen if that wide vibrato thing is in there still. All right, so let's do this. It's the same wide vibrato thing. It just wasn't marked in the sketch. Cool. All right. So that's done. Okay, so I bet, all right, I'm trusting myself a little bit more, so I bet we can get the rest of this keyboard part into here. And then actually this, the DX15, that can be keyboard 3. Give them something to do. DX15. Oh, 15. And I want that all bold. Thank you. Let's put mezzo piano on it. Why not? Okay. All right, so that's done. Cool. So we can, from here to here, that is all attributed. Great. Okay. Oh, the keyboard 3 would have come in anyway, so that's good. Okay, so let's add that keyboard 3 part. So we'll move up here and give it to that. So that's DX3. Mezzo piano. It's kind of pronounced. All right, so that's done. Oops. Highlight. There we go. Okay. So now we have this harp, vibraphone, and slide whistle gesture. So let's do this. Let's attribute it to the harp first. Do we have a harp? Yes, we do. All right. Yes. Okay. All right. I'm gonna write it here. And what's so dynamic on this? Pianissimo. Okay. And I'm also gonna let it ring. Why not? Same with the vibraphone, so we need to add vibraphone. I'm gonna say with pedal. Come on. Italicized, darn you. Okay. It's a washy, blurry cue, so even that's just me editorializing. Okay, and then we have the slide whistle on the downbeat of 15 for 2 beats. Okay. Have a slide whistle. I'm gonna make it a flute just so the playback is moved down. Or you know what? Is there a whistle? Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so delete you, add you. I'm just gonna well, that's like a whistle with okay. I get it. What are my other options? Is that a okay, 10, let's see what that is. Oh, it's just a flute sound. Okay. Okay, then I'll use it. Okay, so move down to... I think it should be under the vibes. Move up. Get out of here. Yes, I'm sure. Okay. And then I'm going to rename this slide whistle. Should have a percussion clef. It's not really pitched. I'm going to make it a percussion clef. Although I might not get the sound then. Let me hide that. All the tricks to get a good playback, you know? What chord are we over? F minor? I think the slide whistle starts on kind of a C. Let's see. I want the playback to be good. All right, I'm overthinking this. Okay. So let's make this that. And did it have a dynamic? Yes, piano. And there's a diminuendo. All right, good enough. I'll allow it. I'll allow it. Great. So we got that. Okay. So now we have the expander, the other expander noise, which we could put in key. No, we can't do that. Okay. We could do like a split in keyboard 3. So it's just a C. It sounds like just a trigger key that starts that like kind of electronic surge sound. Okay, so I'm going to put expander 69. Let's make it piano. Okay, so that's covered, and then the other expander keyboard is that. Perfect. Okay. So that's done. Okay. Okay, so then we have other instances of the expander. Is it during? No, it is not. Okay. So E flat and E flat. And on beat 3, no. Yeah, beat 3. Okay. All right, this is just from before. Let's make it piano. And then we have the chord. Let me enter it just as is. Okay. All right, so we got all that. Okay, so then we have another oboe, flute, harp, vibraphone, slide whistle moment. All right, and then the oboes. Let's have it go to piano. All right, there we go. There's that. Perfect. Okay, so then we have another slide whistle, harp, vibraphone thing. It's on beat. Okay, let me just copy it. And the slide whistle's on beat 3. I think. Wait. Why is that so weird? That's beat 2. Oh, 3. Okay, it is beat 3. Got it. So actually, I'm just going to take it from before. Put it right there. There we go. And then we'll do this. This is still pianissimo for... Oops. I'm actually going to put simile just so I don't have to keep... Why are you doing that? There we go. Okay, just so I don't have to keep writing let vibrate or with pedal or something. All right, that's done. We're making progress. All right, so that's all good. Let me expand out here. Okay, so we got all that, got all that, got all that. Good. Okay, so that note has been taken care of. I still need to check out that. Same dynamics. Oh yeah, okay. So this is just the flutes. And I'm gonna copy the dynamics. Perfect. Okay, that's done. Okay, and then we have a continuation of the Goblin synth, the the DX3. And that goes to the end of the queue, so I'm just gonna put that in here. Perfect. Okay. Oh, and I need to put in the sound change. Oh, wait, I put in the wrong keyboard part. Gah! This should be in keyboard 3 as well. Okay. So DX3, and then there we go. That's all done. Okay. So let me copy paste, or let me highlight that because that's all done. We are almost done here. Love it. Let me get this last flute thing in because then we'll be done with the flute part. Same dynamic. Okay, did that. Great. Did that. Great. Perfect. Okay. Okay. So harp, vibraphone. Let's get that in there. Oh, it's okay. I know what I meant by that. So it comes in on beat 2. Oh, not on the slide whistle. I'm going to be adjusting spellings as I go. Some of the spellings might not be practical, in my opinion. And since I'm the one editing the thing, I can make that call. All right, so slide whistle comes in on beat 4, so it's just a quick quarter note thing this time. Do a similar dynamic because everything has been the same up until this point. So have we been at pianissimo? Yes. Great. Okay. That is done. Did I grab this? No, I did not. Okay, so I need to do that. This one's easy. It's already done for me, and there's no slide whistle with it. I don't know if I need to put in a dynamic that soon after. Maybe I don't need dynamic. Like they'll just assume. I don't know. Okay, cool. So the last thing is just getting the remainder of the expander synths into the part. Okay, so let's grab this person right here. So that's on beat 4, and we're putting that in keyboard whatever it is. Okay, so I'm going to turn this into voice 2, and then yes, we'll definitely need to have a split. So we're going between Expander 69 and DX3. Those are our only two sounds. The lowest expander sound we have is C6. So I'm going to put a note in here. Split A0 to B5 is DX3, and then C6 to C8 is expander 69. And then I'm actually going to rewrite these to just put them in parentheses so it doesn't look like a patch change. Oops. Great. And then the DX15 is an outright patch change. Okie doke. What else do we have to do? We still have to get this stuff in. Okay. So that's just all the way through. Okay, and I'll just get rid of that one synth moment, the one expander synth moment. Okay, so that's a C minor chord, second inversion for just, there we go. All right, that's it. That's all we got. Let me check that off though. Okay, so we did this. Did we get that D in there? I think we did. I just want to, yes, we did. Okay. All right, there's the main title. Orchestrated. Let's give it a listen. So obviously all the synth stuff is going to sound like piano. And you know what? I'm going to make an executive decision right now with the Goblin synth. It's actually an octave. It sounds an octave lower. So let's just do that now. Okay, that looks better. I guess we don't need that. Okay, that feels better. Okay, let's give it a listen. All right, it sounds accurate. Some of the expander things here, just these triggers are obviously uh, cluttering the my perception of the pitch and stuff, but because they're not actually providing any pitch, they're providing sound effects. But other than that, I think it's good. I think we're good. Let's listen. I don't know if I'm going to get copyright struck for this. If we listen to the whole track, because the whole thing is on YouTube, and I don't know, maybe there's a way we can get around this. I'm going to try it for today. We'll listen to the whole thing and read along with the score, the original soundtrack. So the only thing I didn't hear is I don't think there's an expander trigger on the downbeat of 17. I don't think there is. So I'm gonna um well, yeah, it's just not there. So let's get rid of it. And that should be good. All right, I feel good. I feel good about this. I think you know, it's a good first pass. So that is all that I have for today. I'm gonna, just do the boring formatting stuff on my own time. And because all of this that I was broadcasting today was super riveting. Anyway, thank you for tuning in, and I think I'm hoping to be back tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see how often I can get to this. So, all right, now we're gonna try something. I'm gonna go to my outro bumper, which is the same as my intro bumper, so I can stop the stream. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day. Love you all. Bye.